Okay. Any doubts before we start? Okay. So let's quickly start that. So yesterday we discussed till grades, right? Yes or no? Okay.
Yes.
So we have discussed till A grades. Let's go and look at next object. The next object that we have is pay range. Pay range is a salary range for each of the grades that we have created. For these grades, we need to define what is the salary range. Okay, what can be offered to a candidate. Uh, okay, so pay range contains minimum, mid, and max values. What is the minimum salary that is to be paid to a particular grade, or what is a mid salary or max salary? Let's say for trainees, we want to pay from 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. Okay. So this is the salary range that I want to define for the grade trainees. Okay. And all the employees who are trained with, who are hired in this grade should have this salary range. Okay. So where do we use these salary ranges? Now this frequency, and I say 5 lakhs, is it monthly, quarterly, half yearly, annual? What is the frequency? So this is annual, is my annual salary. And currency, I should also tell the system what is the currency. 5 lakh INR. Okay, 5 lakh INR paid annually. And where do we use this salary ranges? Salary ranges are first used in RCM, recruiting management. Okay, and secondly, they're used while hiring the employees, EC, Employee Central. Third, use it in compensation module. When you do the salary revisions, should look at you should look at the employee's salary range. What is the salary range? And then how much can be paid to the employee for each employee. For each employee, we should see what is the salary range and see how or what is the amount that is to be paid to the employee. Okay. Now we don't use directly the pay ranges in any of these modules. Instead, we use the benchmarking techniques called range penetration or comparison. These two are two benchmarking techniques that customers uses across the globe. These are the standard terms: range penetration and comparison. This is not specific to SuccessFactors. This is not specific to SuccessFactors. These are used across the globe. So how do we calculate compare ratio or range penetration? Compare ratio is calculated. Let me add here. Compare ratio is calculated as annual salary divided by midpoint. This gives the compare ratio. And range penetration, to calculate range penetration, we need to deduct minimum salary from annual salary divided by max minus minimum. This gives the range penetration. Now let's say this is the salary range for all the trainees of my organization. And if if I'm offering 8 lakhs, okay, for one of the candidate, I'm offering 8 lakhs. Then your compare ratio would be annual salary divided by midpoint into 100 gives you the percentage. It is 106.6. And same thing if I have to calculate range penetration, annual salary minus minimum salary divided by max minus minimum. Max minus minimum into 100 gives you percentage. 60%. Okay. Now range penetration go up to maximum of 100%. See, range penetration is 100%. And the compare ratio depends on the mid salary. Now, if I have defined it as 8 lakhs, comes to 125. Okay. So it depends, like it can go up to 130 or 135% compare ratio max. Range penetration is max of 100%. Now we can use this range penetration or compare ratio in any of these modules or both of them. Some customers use both compare ratio and range penetration. Some uses only range penetration. Some uses only compare ratio to see where exactly the employee's salary is in. And these pay ranges are defined. These pay ranges are defined based on the market range. Now, when deciding the pay ranges, companies look at the salaries that are being paid in the competitive market. The competitive industries, they'll see what are they paying and how can we retain or how can you decide the salary ranges. So that's why when you look at the job portals, okay, and when you open any of the job, they'll say that salary as per of market standards, as per market standards, or they'll say the range 5 to 10 lakhs. That's the range that is defined for each grade. Most of the times it is on the grade, whatever grades that we have, for each grade we define the pay ranges. Okay. Now, along with pay grade, you can also have additional objects. Now, I have 4 companies. Manufacturing. Okay. RIL has got 4 companies. Manufacturing, retail, infra, IT. If we have 4 companies, it may happen that the managers of a manufacturing salary of a managers who are working in a manufacturing plant and who is working in IT will be different, right? So that means the grade is same, but the company is different. Because of the company, the salary is varying. Because of the type of the company that the employee is working, salary would be different. So you can add your company also as association of pay range. Sometimes the location group, metro, non-metro. We discussed about the location groups, metro and non-metro. For metro cities, I want to have a higher salary range. And for non-metros, the same grade, I want to have lower salary range. So you can add 2 different ranges for the same grade. Okay. So let's go and add the pay range. 8800 or I'll put R1. Trainee pay range. Currency is INR. Frequency is also a foundation object. So you'll find all of these values monthly, quarterly, half yearly, annual. So these things you'll find it in frequency object. Minimum pay, max pay, and mid pay. This is my minimum. Max. Pay grade R1. Geozone and company. Now this is the only object where you may have to go and change the association. So legal entity is associated with pay range. If you are implementing for a company or a customer who has got only one company, so you don't have to add a geos, you don't have to add a legal entity. If they have only one geozone or they are not using geozone, so you don't need geozone. So you can remove these two associations. Every customer will have a grade. So pay grade can be there. Along with the pay grade, if you want to use any other association, you can add the object as an association in corporate data model. Okay? Clear? Any doubts here on pay range? R2. Currency INR. Frequency is annual. Okay. Pay grade is R2. 8800. Save. I'll try to create pay ranges for all of the grades that we have created. R3 GM pay range. Save. Have two more pay grades. Okay, and the last pay range. R5. Okay, so this is my pay range. So the next object that we have is pay component. Pay component is a salary type or a wage type or a salary component. Okay. Examples can be your basic HRA, special allowance, medical, conveyance, income tax, professional tax. So all of these are the pay components. Now a pay component can be either paid to the employee or deducted to the employee, deducted from employee salary. So both of them are configured under pay component. You just have to, it depends upon the configuration, whether it is a whether it is to be paid to the employee or deducted from employee salary. Okay, so let me go to pay component and say 8800. I'll have it as our basic salary. Status is active. Pay component type, whether it is amount or percentage. You have two options. Amount means you will have to input amount for the pay component. And if it is percentage, you just give the percentage 20, 30, 40, 50. And if you are choosing percentage, you will have one additional field. You need to tell the system on what component the percentage is to be calculated. If you see here, I've selected amount. Now I'll go and select percentage. You see one additional field called base pay component group. But if I select amount, you will not see that field. That field will only show up if you select the pay component type as percentage. Is earning yes or no?
What is base pay?
Base pay component group is if I say percentage. Okay.
Okay.
You need to give percentage, 40 or 30. Now, on what component that 40% is to be calculated? I say HRA is a 50 percentage. 50 percentage of what? On what component it is to be calculated?
Okay.
Basic. So that component is to be selected here when you select percentage.
But mine is not showing this number. Okay. Amount and percentage only showing. Two options are coming in the drop down, amount and percentage. One number is coming from you. Login. Hello. Can you hear me?
Sorry, went on mute. Okay,
So
so
mine
amount,
is,
yeah, either it can be either amount or percentage. Okay, number we don't use it for the pay components. Right. The amount is to be paid, whatever amount that is to be paid, you will put either amount or percentage. Amount, the difference between general, this is used in compensation module. Amount is with the currency. Okay, when I say 500, it is 500 rupees or $500. If I say number, I don't know whether it is no currency or a number, just a number, is it is a phone number or is it no some number, serial number or what exactly, we don't know. So we use amount and percentage. Okay, I'll go use amount. Is earning yes or no? If I say is earning yes, it is a payment to the employee. If I say is earning no, that is deducted from employee salary. So if you are creating a component which is to be deducted from employee salary, you can have it as is earning no. Currency, you can choose the currency. Pay component value. For some components, the value is fixed, like medical. Medical allowance, I want to have the same amount for all employees, 15,000 per year. So you can fix that amount here. And if you don't know the amount, you can leave the blank. If the amount is different for different employees, then it can be blank. Pay component value. Frequency of the component, how frequently you want to pay? I want to pay this monthly. Frequency is monthly. Recurring, yes or no. Recurring means reoccur. So once the basic salary is added to the employee, it should get paid every month. Okay, that is called recurring. There is no end date. Until and unless you go and insert a new record, system will keep processing that payment every month, because that's a recurring component. I'll say recurring, yes.
This frequency name you can change?
Yes, you can change.
They have changed in 3 years. ATC, ATCB monthly.
You can change. Frequency is also a foundation object. You can change. You have this like D36, daily 360, 4 years. Success factors gives us some standard frequencies. We can use them. Or if you feel you want to have your own frequency, you can create your own frequency also. Okay. Recurring, yes or no? Tax treatment, you can choose whether the tax is to be calculated or not. Gross up means it will add up to your gross. No tax if you don't want any tax to be calculated. Regular means regular tax calculated. Can override, yes or no? If you select, if you are adding some amount here, let's say 50%, and you don't want user to update this value, it should be only 50%. So set the can override to no. Here I am here I am adding, and the configuration level I'm adding it as 15,000, but I've put it as can override yes. That means every user will be given option to update the amount. While hiring the employee, by default for this amount, for this component, the amount is 15,000, but if you want to change the amount, you can change. If I say can override yes. If I say can override no, if I have set it as 15,000, system will not allow to add any other value other than that value that what we maintain here. If I say 15,000, every employee should be given only 15,000, not more than that or not less than that. Okay. Self-service description, how do you want to see it? See this pay component as basic salary. Display and self-service, yes, I want to show. Use for compensation planning, this is for compensation module. You have compensation, variable pay, and both the modules. No, I'm not choosing anything, just leave it blank. Recurring payments and deductions. Recurring, yes, means this is a regular component. Recurring payments and deduction means the component which you want to pay for a certain number of period. Now, if you look at the offer letter of the employee, you'll have a CTC and breakup, cost to the company and the breakup of your salary, annual salary, and then breakup of the salary. Now, in the breakup, you'll find all the components, basic, HRA, medical, and so on. So those are the regular components, regular recurring components. Now, apart from this regular recurring components, you can also have additional pay components which are paid or deducted from the employee salary. Now, let's say I've taken a loan, I've taken a salary advance of 50,000, and this is to be deducted for next 5 months, 10,000 each. So I have now start date and end date. So that is called recurring payment or deduction. Now it can be paid. Now I want to pay the employee 5,000 per month for next 3 months. So I have the start and end date. So that is a recurring payment. And then you have recurring deduction, salary advance. So what do you want to use it as? The regular payment or a recurring payment and deduction? I'll set it to no here. How many decimal places you want to have? 1 or 2? You can choose the default. Or you can also add, let's say I want to have 2 decimals, choose 2. Enable end dated payments. If you want to have the end date maintained for a component, you can set it to yes. For basic and other components, you will not have the end date because we don't know when we are going to change the salary. It can be after 6 months, after 1 year, after 10 months, after 2 years, we don't know. Okay. Clear on pay component? I'll create a couple of more pay components. Now it as HRA. Now HRA is a percentage. Okay. It should be the percentage of basic. So go and search for your pay component. 8800. This one. Okay. It is a payment. Currency would be INR. Pay component value, say 50%. Frequency, I want to pay monthly. And this is a regular component. So I'll set it to yes. Tax treatment, I want tax to be calculated. Can override, I'll keep it as no. No, this is fixed 50%. For all the employees, it should be 50%, not less than that and more than that. So I'll keep it as no. Yes. Maximum decimal place is default. Save. Okay. I'll create one more pay component. Medical.
When you sorry to disturb, can you please explain again a pay component type, that one, the amount percentage?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have, let's say CTC. Okay. And then you have your salary makeup of basic, HRA, medical allowance, special allowance. Okay. Now, if you look at your salary, you'll find the basic salary as, let's say, 1 lakh. Basic salary is 1 lakh. This is amount. Your HRA is 40% or 50% of basic, right? This is 40%. This is now in percentage instead of amount. Okay.
Mhm.
Medical, I'll say 15,000. This is amount. Special allowance, this is amount. Only HRA is a percentage. Now, when I say percentage, 40% of what? On which component it should calculate the 40%? It is on basic. So base pay component group is base is basic salary. Okay, for all the percentage components, you'll see base.
Mhm.
Okay. Now sometimes it may happen that I have my CTC here. Basic is 50% of CTC. Okay. And this is 40% of into 40% of basic. Okay. And this is 10 lakh minus 5 lakhs minus 2 lakhs minus 15,000. This is my special allowance. Now here, this is percentage, this is percentage. This is the amount. This is percentage of CTC. Basic is a percentage of CTC. 50% into CTC. 40% into basic. Okay, here I'm not giving the amount, I'm giving the percentage. No, I don't want to calculate it on other component. It should be the direct amount. Then you can add. Okay.
Yes.
Pay component value, I will have medical allowance 15,000. Frequency, I'll put annual. Recurring is yes. Tax statement, I want to calculate tax. Can override, I'll put keep it as no. Okay, save. Okay, I'll create one component which is a reduction. Salary deduction. Here, pay component type is amount, is earning I'll set to no. If it is set to no, then this is a deduction component. Not paid to the employee, it is deducted from employee salary. INR, there is no fixed value. Frequency would be monthly. Recurring, I'll say no, because this is not the regular component. Tax treatment also, I'll say no tax. Can override yes. Salary deduction, display yes. Recurring, I'll say yes. I'll say recurring yes and recurring yes here. Maximum decimal places, we'll keep it. Let me add it as enable end dated payments, yes. Take action, make correction, say yes. No. Let me show you at the employee level. If I go to any employee, if I go to any employees, compensation info, okay. And the compensation here, you see, this is my regular section where I add the pay components. And then next we have pay targets. These are recurring payments and deductions. These are regular recurring components which are paid as part of the regular salary. These are the components which are paid outside your regular salary. And then you also have one-time payments. Have one-time payments as well. These are recurring which are paid for some periods, for certain period. One-time payments are only paid once. Once in a quarter, once in a year, once in 6 months, like that. Whereas these are the components which can be paid recurring, okay, for 3 months, for 6 months, for 8 months or 4 months, etc. Okay, so if you have set the recurring as yes here, if you have set recurring yes here and no here, so the component will show up in this section, pay component section. And if I put recurring yes and recurring payments and deductions yes, this will show up in this section. And if I say no and no, it shows up in one-time payments. Okay. Now let's go here. I'll create one component which is basic. Bonus is to be paid in INR. Frequency, I'll say annual, once in a year. This is not a recurring. Okay. Tax treatment, I want to calculate tax. can override yes. And this is bonus. And this is also no. Set to save. So I've created 4 components: basic, HRA, medical, salary advance, and bonus. 5 components. Next object is pay component group. Grouping of pay components. Okay, as the name says, pay component group. Pay component is one single component, and grouping of all of the pay components is pay component group. Like CTC is a pay component group because I want to add all of these amounts and show it as CTC. So that's pay component group. If you want to add multiple pay components and show the amount, that is the pay component group. Multiple pay components will form one pay component group. Here I already have a pay component group added. Now for any employee, if I go and see, okay, if I go and see any employee, this is my annualized salary. What is annualized salary? The component what is added here, 14,500 monthly. Okay. And annual salary will calculate, if it is monthly, annual salary would be 14,500 into 12. This becomes 174. Okay. So annual will multiply that into a, depending on the component's frequency. Now I'll go here. This is monthly. This is monthly. This is annual. This is monthly. I'll remove this. Okay. This is my regular. And then you have a bonus. This is quarterly. These are my pay components. This is paid monthly. So if I have to calculate the annual amount, this into 12. It's my annual amount. HRA also, this one into 12, monthly amount. And this is annual. So I'll keep this as it is. This is monthly again into 12. This is quarterly into 4. Now, this is my annual salary. This one is annual salary. Right? This is per month. This is per annum. This is per quarter. So when you calculate the annualized salary, you should multiply the annualization factor with the frequency, with the component. Frequency is annualization factor with the components amount. If it is monthly, it is 12. If it is quarterly, it is 4. It is half yearly, twice. Okay, and you get your annual salary. Now we already have a pay component group called annualized salary. Go to pay component group. There's one component called annualized salary here already created. I'll just go and add my pay component. There are many components. See, there are many components here. And I'll add my components also here. If my pay component, if the component which is assigned to the employee is part of this one, then system will calculate the annual salary. Go here, take action, make correction, pay component, 8800, add all of that, 8801, 802, Salary deduction need not to be added here. Sorry. Just remove. If you want bonus to be calculated, you can add. Otherwise, you can leave it. Okay. Clear? On pay component and pay component group.
Yes.
Now for the pay components, we have one more configuration. Now in this instance, this is optional again. In this instance, we have the association between country and pay component. So when do we need the country and pay component association? We need country and pay component association if you are implementing for a customer with multiple country operations. If my customer is having their operations in 10 different countries, each country will have different pay components. Okay. So they operate from US, India, China, Japan, and so on. So every country has got different pay components. So let's say each country has got 10 components. 10 into 10, 100 pay components. When you're hiring employee, if you go to the pay component, it shows up the list of all the 100 pay components. I don't want that to happen. I don't want all the 100 pay components to show up. I want only the components that are specific to that country to show up. So you associate pay component with country. And now in this instance, we have that association. So I'll go and maintain the association. Manage data, because country is maintained in manage data. Let me first save this. Go to manage data, country, and India. Okay. On 1/1/2024, I have my pay components. So I'll go and add my components. 8800 8801. Okay. I've added all the pay components. That means I can use these pay components. All of these pay components which are showing up here in India, we can use them for our employees. Okay. Clear on pay components?
Yes, one question in people profile, customer user can see their all the details regarding a pay which you shown us calculation that, or only HR can see that data.
No. Employees can view their salary. Now, if I am an employee, I can see my salary.
Okay.
Right? I cannot edit my salary.
Yes, yes.
If my salary is 1 lakh, I cannot go and change it to 2 lakhs or 10 lakhs.
This only view
This
access.
is view. Employee should see their salary.
Okay.
It depends upon permission, what permissions you have granted.
Mhm.
I don't want you to see my salary. You are also employee, I am also employee. I can see my own salary. I cannot see your salary.
Mhm.
So that is controlled through permissions.
Okay.
Okay. But
Yes.
I can only view my salary. I cannot edit my salary. Who can edit my salary? My HR can edit the salary.
Yeah, authorization team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next object is frequency. Frequency we have already used. We have already used the frequency, like monthly, quarterly, half yearly, and so on. Frequency is a foundation object. So if I go here and search for monthly frequency, frequency ID, name, description, annualization factor. Annualization factor. Here, we have multiplied this with 12. This one into 12. And this one into 4. Why? This is a quarterly. Now, similarly, if I go and check the quarterly, system should know how much amount or what is the factor that it has to multiply. This is 4. And if I see half yearly, it would be 2. Any component with half yearly, if I add the component with half yearly, system will multiply into 2 to calculate the annual salary. Okay, so that's the frequency. Frequency we have already used in pay range. We have used in pay component. So I'm not going to create any new. If you want, you can also create new frequencies. Go click frequency and add the frequency. Okay. Clear? And next object that we have is dynamic role and workflow. These two will park them aside. We'll come back after 2 or 3 more sessions and we'll create them. Okay. After 3-4 sessions, we'll come back and create dynamic role and workflow. Now we don't need them for hiring. Okay. After hiring the employees, we'll have to configure the workflows to see the approval process. So there we'll come and create dynamic role and workflow. And the last object in foundation objects is event reason. Go to event reason. Events we have already discussed. Events are the transactions that an employee performs, that a HR performs in an employee. Example, hire, transfer, promotion, and so on. And this we already have now in the system. They are standard events. And for every event, at least one event reason is to be created. For all the customers, if they want to use transfer, for transfer, we need to create minimum of one event reason. For promotion, we need to create a minimum of one event reason if they want to use that action. Okay. Events are nothing but the actions and the action reason. Why are you transferring? Is it a department transfer? Is it location transfer? Is it manager transfer? Is it country transfer? When I say termination, is it voluntary termination? Is it involuntary termination? We need to create these event reasons. Let's go and add that here. Event reason, put 8800 or hiring. First event I'll create an event reason, I'll create a hiring. Okay. And these are the standard events. In the drop down, you'll see all standard events. These are standard events. You have hire, you have transfer, you have promotion, you have termination, you have rehire. Okay, you cannot create any additional events. You'll have to use only these events. Okay. Hire ring is part of the hire event. And what is the status of them? Now, this is the status of the event reason. It is active. Employee status. What would be the employee status when you hire an employee? Employee status would be active. If you're terminating, if you're creating an event reason for termination, status would be terminated. If you're creating an event reason for suspension, it would be suspended, retired, paid leave, unpaid leave. So these can be your statuses. Okay. For hiring, it is be active. Follow-up activity in position, we have 2 options. Position transfer and position reclassification. When you are doing a transfer or a promotion, if I want to promote an employee, there are 2 ways of doing it. Keep the employee in the same position, change the grade of the employee on the position. That is position reclassification. Existing position, you're just changing the attributes. That's called reclassification. And second is position transfer. You move the employee from one position to other position. Now the employee is manager. I want to promote him to senior manager. Instead of changing the attributes of position, change the position itself. So that is position transfer. So what do you want to use? For hiring, we don't use any position reclassification or transfer. For transfers and promotions, if you want, you can use. Otherwise, you can leave it. Payroll event, this is for employee central payroll. We don't use it anything here. Display an internal job history portlet. On the employee profile, we have internal job history portlet, where with after joining the organization, if I want to see what all changes are done to the employee, you can add that to internal job history. For hiring, you don't need. I'll just save it. Okay, I've created one for hire. I'll create some for transfer and promotion as well. 8801 or transfer. This is for transfer. Employee status active. This is yes. So I'll create one more transfer. Event reason. Department transfer. Okay. Employee status active. Event. I'll create one for promotion and one for termination as well. Okay. Say yes. Save. Okay. So we'll stop it here with this event reason, and we'll see rest of the objects in tomorrow's session.
Venu, yesterday I have created one legal entity, but not able to see that in org chart. That
Venu, my org chart is showing some error and showing to connect with help service.
So why did you not ask at the beginning of the class?
yeah, actually I was try to ask, but my mic issue. That's why, Venu, not able to unmute it.
Okay. So what was the problem?
Yeah, actually in the org chart, not able to see the company name, legal entity.
What is your company?
Tirumala Limited. The code is 0071.
What is that code?
0071.
This is the error actually.
Yes, for me same.
You have your company, right? What was the problem?
Actually, in the company structure portlet, I have selected some another company name, and it's showing some error pop up.
Is that your company structure? Did you create this company structure?
No,
Is
no,
this
no,
your company structure? Did you create your own company structure?
no, no.
Then why are you using others' company structure? I've shown you how to create a company structure, right?
Yeah.
Should be creating your own. You don't know what they have configured, right? So don't use
Yes,
that. Create your own company structure. Yes or no?
yes.
Mona Lisa, did you create your company structure?
No,
Then
actually, I was following your step and you selected that Samsung, so I thought
no.
any random I can
See,
select.
I have selected this one. This is working. This is not working. This is working. So I just looked at the company structure. Okay. So I've shown you how to look at the company structure using the existing and also shown you how to create your own structure. Right? Yeah, try to create your own company structure.
Hello, Venu. I have created my org structure and my company ID is 5522. Kindly check Venu. Das Enterprises. I have created veterinary regarding medicines, veterinary medicines and human medicines. I have created.
Yeah, this is fine. Okay.
Is this correct, Venu?
Yeah, this is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, then we'll stop it here. We'll continue tomorrow.
Yeah. Thanks, Venu.
Thank you. Bye.